Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Brett James back again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about my two most underrated teams heading into this 2019-2020 NBA season. Now, both of my teams are in separate conferences. I got the Sacramento Kings and the Orlando Magic. Now, I know you're probably thinking, how can the Orlando Magic even be considered an underrated team when they made the playoffs last year and they even won a game against the Toronto Raptors in the first series? But I'm here to tell you that the Magic are still not getting the respect that they deserve, okay? Now, of course, they can regress, but I do think that the team has gotten a lot better from last year. Of course, they didn't make some huge significant jump in free agency like a Clippers or the Lakers did, but the Orlando Magic have a foundation with Steve Clifford, Nikola Vucevic, and a bunch of other good role players on this team. And I think in a weak Eastern Conference, one that can kind of fizzle out depending on how things shake up, the Orlando Magic can be a great team this year. But let's just stop wasting time and let's just hop right into the video. Now, I am going to start off with the Sacramento Kings, though. Sacramento Kings last year had zero expectations to make the playoffs. Of course, they didn't. They were the 9th seed. The Clippers got them out for the 8th seed. But they did exceed expectations much more than they were supposed to last year, finishing with a 39-43 record. And the Sacramento Kings have a building piece around Marvin Bagley, Buddy Hield, and De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox being the biggest name of them, who is potentially an all-star point guard in the future to come. I don't expect it this year just because I think the West is too stacked with guards. But I see in a couple of years De'Aaron Fox being that lethal and being that great of a point guard. The Kings this offseason made some great moves, getting Luke Walton on that 5-year deal. He's been around the league for a while, used to be the assistant for the Golden State Warriors, and his last tenure was with the Los Angeles Lakers. They never made the playoffs with Luke Walton, but I do think that he has something to prove, and I think he can do that in Sacramento with these boys. They went out and got Corey Joseph, Trevor Ariza. They re-signed Harrison Barnes back on that 4-year deal. They drafted Justin James and Kyle Guy. I love those draft picks. And I think this team overall has a bunch of great depth on the bench. I think their starting lineup's solid. Even though they did lose some depth at the bench in guys like Willie Cauley-Stein, Alec Burks, those guys aren't going to make too much of a significant impact in terms of their losses. They're still great, young, solid pieces. I think Alec Burks and Willie Cauley-Stein both actually signed with the Golden State Warriors. But that's beside the point. The Sacramento Kings have a chance to actually prove the haters wrong this year. Again, they have basically zero expectations this year. And I think with all these guys together again, even though it's in a new coaching system, like I said, with Luke Walton, I think Bagley, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Bogdanovich, all these great guys that have been in the NBA now have a little bit of experience. I think these guys are really going to take another leap this year. And I expect it especially from De'Aaron Fox, who is already a most improved player of the year candidate this year. And De'Aaron Fox was already a guy who was already giving you 17, 7, and about a steal and a half per game, which was already fantastic for a second-year guard. And then Buddy Hield really showed out last year, getting over 20 points per game and having one of the best three-point percentages in the entire NBA, over 40% shooting from three. Now, coming into the league, Buddy Hield was known as just a shooter. He proved to be more than that last year. He could be a ball-dominant guy, but definitely the Kings have a shot to make the playoffs this year. I don't think that they will make the playoffs, but I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck in a 7 or 8 seed at all, especially what they did last year in an already stacked Western Conference as well, being that 9th seed and these guys getting some more experience. The Sacramento Kings are going to be a very good and underrated team in the Western Conference this year. All right, and now I'm going to be talking about the Orlando Magic as the other underrated team. As I said, this team still does not get the respect that they deserve. Okay, granted, they made the playoffs for the first time in forever, to put it plain and simple. This team plays with a lot of grit, okay? After the All-Star break, they had the #1 defensive rating in the entire NBA. That's what led them to make the playoffs. When they were 11 games under 500, they had a record of 20-31 at one time, and they ended up finishing the season 42-40. Going over that stretch to, like I said, make the playoffs. This team understands the system that they're in, and they know that their potential is through the roof with these guys. Markelle Fultz, we've still not seen how great he could possibly be. He has to get healthy and he has to get mentally right. But if Fultz is anything like what he's supposed to be, and he comes back to this already great team if they stay healthy, he's going to make a huge impact with the team. I mean, they got Vucevic back on that re-signing deal, 4-year, $100 million deal. They got Terrence Ross back on that 4-year, $52 million deal to still come off the bench and give you solid production. Okay, they got Carter Williams back on a 1-year deal, Khem Birch on a 2-year deal. They signed Al-Farouq Aminu, a great 3-and-D guy. man, just top to bottom, this team looks great across the board. A lot of guys that can space the floor, a lot of guys that can go to the hole and finish. Great guys defensively. They've got great length. Okay, they drafted Chuma Okeke. Correct me if I said that wrong. Okay, but even though he's probably not going to play at all this year or a majority of this year, I mean, he's going to be another great 3-and-D guy, small forward, power forward kind of guy when he comes back. Like, this team right now in a weak Eastern Conference can make a big, significant leap. And, like, I really mean that, okay? They had a sluggish start for the most part last year up until January, February, when everything really started to turn around. If this team can play at a consistent level, doesn't mean they have to play like they're winning 8 out of 10 games. But if they play at a good high level of basketball in this conference, they can be anywhere probably between a 4 and 8 seed. I mean, outside of the Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers, who everyone knows is probably going to be the 1 and 2 seed. Nobody else in the East is really that proven, okay? Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum with the Boston Celtics, we got to see how that works out. Is that going to kind of be a similar situation with how ball dominant Kyrie was? And then speaking of Kyrie, the Brooklyn Nets, they don't have Kevin Durant, okay? So Kyrie Irving's in a situation where he's the leader and he's the focal point of the offense again. Let's see how that turns out. They're not proven, okay? The Miami Heat, they've got some great guys, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic. They've got good guys too, but they're the Miami Heat. Eric Spoelstra hasn't really done much ever since the LeBron Wade era. Okay, that team's not proven either. So the East is pretty much open for a lot of these teams to actually mix and match, shuffle up the seedings a lot. And I think the Magic are the one team that kind of kept their identity and their team together outside of maybe like the Indiana Pacers, who they kept their star player in Victor Oladipo, even though he's coming off injury. They were able to get Malcolm Brogdon. So I think the Pacers are actually going to still be one of those teams that kept the core of their team together and can actually play at a high level. But the Orlando Magic are the other one that stayed together. They have younger players who are ascending just as much as the Indiana Pacers, and they're in the same foundation, okay? If Aaron Gordon, who's a guy who's already dropping about 16, 17 points per game, can get you anywhere between 18 and 20, that's going to make a huge leap for this team and a huge impact on his game. Okay, Vucevic has already given you 20 and 36% from 3, which is great for a big man. So the Orlando Magic, they have pieces, man. They have depth from top to bottom, and this team is going to be great, I think. That's why they're so underrated. I mean, teams are expecting them to be like a 7-8 seed again, which could happen. You know, anything's possible in the NBA on any given night, okay? I don't see them missing the playoffs. Some people do, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But this team can really be anywhere between a 4 and an 8 seed realistically, and maybe make a second round appearance this year. You know, depending on how injuries shake up and just how they play together as a team. So I think the Orlando Magic are a great team this year. I think that they're so underrated, and we're going to see how well they play together this year, though. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think about the Orlando Magic and the Sacramento Kings being the two most underrated teams in the NBA. Let me know any other video topics y'all want me to discuss regarding the NBA. And if you guys could please like, share, and subscribe down below, that'd be great. Leave a comment about the channel, and thank you guys so much, and I'm out.